it's not even us getting on guys that they're messaging too much. It's what you allow her to message you. So when I'm working with a guy and, tell me the messaging strategy. What's going on in that department? Well, she's forwarding me memes. She's not even writing to you now. She's just forwarding stuff. Forwarding jokes and recipes. I mean, where are we at here? She sends a photo of her dog. Look at Barky. Isn't he so cute? He's eating some new food. And you're like, oh my God. But you're replying to all this because you don't want to be mean, right? You're lowering the bar for what a woman thinks she can contact you about, right? And that would be totally fine. But a lot of these guys, when it comes time for her to show up for the date, she's not showing up. She's canceling. She's making an excuse. And I'm saying, well, you talked to her all day, 24/7 for the last week. Of course, she's not going to meet you on Friday night. You guys talked about everything. You allowed her to contact you on a whim all week. That's why she broke the date. You have to let her know, hey, Barky, I'm glad Barky got a new toy. Let's talk about that when we meet up on Thursday night.
An important part of this too is establishing expectations for the relationship, because I noticed this. I have married friends and they've been with their women just as long as I've been with mine in a lot of cases. And we'll go out to dinner. I'll go out with one of my buddies, and the entire dinner, he's like getting texts from his wife. And I'm like, you friggin' live with her. Why are you like, and same thing. She's sending him like a funny video or I'm like, she can't let you enjoy, your night. Your night. And I showed, they're like, oh, you don't talk to yours. And I'm like, I showed on my phone. I'm like, I literally have like in the last month, like 3 texts with her, because I'm like, I see her all the time. Like, I want her to miss me when I'm not around. Right. I want her to feel like, what is he doing? What's going on? Because a lot of that is fun, right? That like, who's he with? Right. Like we talked about earlier, that you mentioned how we were talking about how you can't make your woman jealous, right? There comes a point where you're not going to like post a picture of you on Instagram with another girl to make a girl jealous. But on the same token, I know that when I'm out with my friends and, my woman hasn't heard from me all night and I come home, like she's into me more, right? And I like that too. When she goes out, she'll go out for a weekend with her friends and we might send one text that entire weekend. And when she comes home, like she walks in the door and we're like,
yeah, you're excited.
Because we have that, right? Where it's like if every 5 minutes I was getting a text from her or she was getting a text from me, like we wouldn't have that time to miss each other. And you and I always say, like, give her the gift of missing you. Give her the gift of thinking about you. And part of that is not always talking to her. And you have to be the one, as you said, to slow her down.
Right.
It's not always our fault, right? We take a lot of blame, and you and I always like use examples of the guy messing up. But a lot of times it's the woman who's, in doing too much of this. But as the guy,
we're just going along with it.
You have to slow her down, and you have and it's very easy because a guy, I did a video on TikTok recently where I said, don't send good morning or good night texts. Funny, off topic, tons of women were like, I love those texts. So I had to create another video saying, theoretically, you love those texts, but in reality.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
What they love and the guy they stay with are two different things. There's no doubt they love those texts. Ask her what guy she stayed with and what guy she got rid of, and you'll get a different answer.
Yeah, it's so true. I go because women equate longing with love. So I kind of said they long to get those texts, right? Mm-hmm. Why they're longing to get them, they're feeling like, I must love. But when they stop longing for something, that craving goes away and that interest starts to dwindle. But the point I brought this up was I had some guys respond, well, my girl sends me those texts. What should I do? He's like, should I not respond? And I go, yeah, you don't have to respond immediately. If you get a good morning text, right, you don't have to immediately respond. Like you're busy at work, right? It's totally acceptable to not always respond right away if a woman's texting you good morning or good night. I mean, I'll tell you what, there's no more desire a woman's going to have for you. If she sends you a good night text and then you don't respond to that, she's going to be in bed waiting for that text. And you know what's going to be happening that entire time? Your value in her eyes is going to be increasing, right?
But she's going to be frustrated. She's going to be mad at you.
She's going to be frustrated. But what does that mean? It means she's becoming more invested in you, right? On the other hand, if she gets the good night text, and I'm not saying never, this is not like a black or white, never send her good night text. I'm saying think in terms of you don't always have to give her what you think she wants, right? If she wants to send you memes all the time, you don't have to go, well, if I don't reply LOL, she's going to be upset. No, just ignore it. Hang out with your friends. Just don't have to feel that desire of appeasing her, because women like you just said, right? Women don't need to be appeased to feel attraction for a man. And in fact, sometimes the more you appease her and you're constantly appeasing her, the less attraction she actually feels.
Yeah, don't be afraid to frustrate her, right? I think you could say it like that.
So what about in person, right? How much of guys always say, well, should I be hanging out with her every weekend, or how much time should I be spending her? What should I be doing with her as we're transitioning into that relationship role? What if you suggested to guys?
Yeah, so I don't get too strict about how much time. I hate hard rules, but one thing I do say is you want to put a high value on the time you do give. Now, this is something that might sound a little contradictory to some people. A lot of times you think you're the cool guy if you're the casual guy, right? Yeah, we're hanging out. I'm stopping by. She's going out with her girlfriends, but she's going to stop by for a little bit, hang out. We're going to watch Netflix. That's all fine. To me, later on in the relationship, when you've captured this girl, she's in love with you and she's chasing you. It's funny to think about, but when you become that casual dude, you're not getting the high time slot things. She's thinking, I can get this guy anytime I want, right? I can pop over, I can stop in, we can hang out. I'm seeing my girlfriends later. I'm going to stop at his house on my way home, right? Now, if it's just a hookup or you're not really serious about this girl, I get it. Fine. We've both done that. But if this is the girl you want chasing you, you don't want to accept those things. You want a higher time slot. And a lot of guys that I coach, they're accepting those things. And this girl is not into them. This girl is not chasing them. So I say, hey, that sounds great, but why don't we do this instead and make it a date? Now, I know what some people may be thinking. Dating's for wimps, man. Chris, I'm the casual, cool guy. Dating is not for wimps if you're a challenge, if she's chasing you. I feel like dating's kind of got a bad name because like it brings up like nice guys and tuxedos and spending thousands and bringing roses. You can go on dates. You can take her to fun things, exciting things if you're also a challenge. If she's also chasing you and you become that high time slot guy, the guy she's getting dressed up for, the guy she's talking to her girlfriends. Ooh, I'm going out on a date tonight. This is a higher level guy. The casual hangout guy is not that guy.
Yeah, the only thing worse than the casual hangout guy is the lunch guy, right?
Oh, you keep going down. You
Like
get
only
brunch at
meet for
Denny's.
lunch. When I have a client like, oh, she wants to meet for lunch. I'm like, oh, that's like literally the worst thing you can hear, right?
What's that dating app? It's just lunch or something.
No, I agree though. It's if you're looking for like sex and that's really what you want out of a relationship, then sure, like and you're getting it, right? Because
Right, true.
you're presupposing if she's meeting you to watch Netflix that you're sleeping with her. If she's meeting you to watch Netflix and you're not getting physical with her at all, then you really just have a friendship, right? That's not even a relationship. But to your point, if you want to actually become the guy she's with, right, the guy that she wants to have a serious relationship with, you kind of have to pre-frame that, right? And to your point, you're not going to do that by just accepting anytime she has available. It's going to be like a compromise to an extent, right?
Right.
You're not going to give her the ultimatum. We always say it because I always want to be clear because guys, I know next week you said that not to accept it, so I gave her an ultimatum. It's not about giving her an ultimatum like I only will hang out with you on Friday night. It's like be willing. We always say, I think we said this in another video. It's like be willing to walk away or be willing to not. If you go, well, why don't we go out? And she's like, well, I can't. She's like, all right, well, you know what? When you're free for a night out, hit me up and let's go out. Instead of saying, oh well, you can't, let's just meet then, right?
Right.
Hold yourself. You don't have to go, I'm only gonna go out with you if you, but just don't be available for a lunch meetup, right? And
Or politely spin it into something else, right? You don't even have to decline. You could say, hey, that sounds fun. She says, hey, me and my girlfriends are meeting at the bar to watch the game. Hey, that sounds like a lot of fun. Can't do that. What I can do is this, right? So sometimes they're not doing it to be mean to you. They're just seeing if you'll accept it. Hey, I can get him anytime I want. You say, hey, politely decline that. Let's do a higher time slot thing instead. It just looks like you value your time more. You're that guy she's putting effort into, getting ready for. At least at the beginning, listen, we all get to the point, it's your girlfriend. You order food, you're on the couch, you watch Netflix. I get it. But at the beginning, when you're trying to win this girl and get her chasing you, you got to be the higher time slot guy. And just real quickly, it's funny. I think we talked about this in a previous video. At first, when you put a higher price, because we're always as dating coaches, put a higher price tag on yourself. You're valuable. At first, they don't accept it, right? They don't. It's like this. Remember, like the airlines, like a few years ago, they started charging $50 for a checked bag, right?
yeah.
like out of nowhere? And what was your first reaction, right? I will not pay 50. This is ridiculous. I will never fly JetBlue. What are you doing a few weeks later? You're paying the $50. You're flying to Miami, right? Girls are the same way. They're going to hem and haw and they don't want to do it. And I'm not, usually I can get Chris to just pop over. I'm not going, on this romantic date with him. But guess what? If they like you, they're paying the $50. They're paying the higher price, even though they haven't in the past. So you kind of got to hold out and really have them accept that, hey, I'm a higher value than I used to be.
Yeah, I had this. Something similar happened with my girl when we were in the very early stages where she would always invite this other couple. We met through another couple, and she would always want to invite them along, which was kind of fun. But eventually, I'm like, I don't want to be like the guy you hang out with that couple.
Right.
I want to.
Right.
So one day I was like, oh, we're gonna go to New York. She's like, oh, we're gonna invite, and she named the couple, and I'm like, why don't we just go ourselves tonight, right? I think it'll be a chance for us to hang out. And she was like totally cool with it. And she wasn't like inviting them she was just doing it because it was like easier for her, right? But eventually you have to, it was just say, hey, why don't we just go out, just the two of us, right? And sometimes that's all you have to say. It's not a big deal all the time. Sometimes they're just doing it for a comfort level, or sometimes they don't know what you want.
Right.
So like you don't really know, but you just kind of have to, like you said, you have to actually put it out there that, hey, let's do something a little bit more together. Let's do something more like a date rather than just, you stopping over after your, night out with your friends.
Such a great example, because with coaching, I see that all the time. They met in a group, right? And then you want to keep that group together. We're all going to go out. But again, it's not the highest time slot thing. You want to be that one-on-one, makes it seem more special, more effort. So good point.
So what is the next thing that guys want to be conscious of not letting her fully tame or have as you enter into that relationship phase?